What's up, y'all? You're watching York Shuffleboard, and you're about to learn some shuffleboard strategy and watch the finals of our Spring 2024 League Playoffs. It is Banquet, baby. In the finals, we have Ting Tang, Walla, Bing Bang versus Tang Bus. Ting Tang has won the championship one time. Tang Bus has won it 3 times. If they win it, they tie the Gowanus Dolphins for the all-time winningest team, so you better believe a lot is on the line in this match. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for joining, and we're going to have a fun one. Peace out. All right, we are about to kick this thing off. This is practice shots of the finals. Format is best 2 out of 3 8-frame games. If the same team wins both games, they win the match. If each team wins one game, they play a 4-frame tiebreaker. Both of these teams have storied histories, as mentioned in the intro. Tang Bus going for their 4th championship, Ting Tang going for their 2nd championship, and this is actually a rematch of a 2019 Banquet Finals, so it should be a really, really exciting one. Also, if Ting Tang wins this, if Tang Bus wins this, they'll have 4, which matches both Philly Specials and the Gowanus Dolphins for the winningest teams in the game. So you know they want that street cred here in Brooklyn Shuffleboard. You're probably noticing at home a lot of people dress like they're at a rodeo. That's because the Royal Palms Banquets League Playoffs, semifinals, and finals are saved for Monday night, and they do a party for the league. And every season, it's a theme. If you're a fan of the channel, you will have seen New Orleans theme, where we had a crawfish boil about a year ago. We did goth theme for the last one. This one is rodeo theme, but they couldn't help but reintroduce the crawfish boil because it was so delicious. So they just kind of like tacked that onto a rodeo theme, and I ain't complaining. I love me some crawfish. And Adam Lantham of the Gumbo Brothers down in Nashville flew up to do a crawfish and shrimp boil. They actually catered Missy and my wedding, so love those guys at Gumbo Brothers. It's been a really, really fun night so far. Really, really delicious. Yeah. So yeah, they are finishing up their warm-up shots. We do 4 warm-up shots for each team. Basically, what you're trying to figure out with the warm-up shots, I'll talk about a little bit more in game 2. But every time you come in here, the speed of the court's a little bit different. Right now, they're boiling a bunch of crawfish. There's a lot of humidity in the air. I noticed in the semifinals, people talking about how the discs are running a little slow. Usually when it's raining and it's humid, the courts tend to run a little bit slower. So that's something to look out for, whether people come up short on their blocks and on their hammers. They've each had a match in the semifinals before this, so you'd think they would be used to it by now, but I wouldn't be surprised if it still causes a little bit of difficulty. And yeah, we got frame 1 of 8 about to start off. We got Jack, formerly of Shufflove, playing for Ting Tang, and Roger. They're both on yellow. And we got Chris and Alessio on black for Tang Bus. And yeah, frame 1 of 8. Here we go. So as mentioned, this channel kind of exists to teach newer players about shuffleboard strategy. So if you already know how to play, I'm going to be over-explaining some of the basic things. But I think I'm going to talk a lot of intermediate and advanced tactics as well, with respect to court drift and strategy and when to play aggressive and when not to play aggressive. So there's going to be something for everyone. And already 2 shots into the game, there's a mistake. Yellow put up a St. Pete, black with the hammer. Typically with even score, you're trying to clear it off and keep the board as open as possible. So yellow has a hide opportunity. They're trying to score an 8 or a 7 on the right here. And they score an 8, but that is not hidden at all. Hidden means if it was kind of in the right side, corner 8, or high 7, kind of where that printed number 7 is on the right, it would be hidden where that black disc up front would be in the way for black to clear it out. But look at that. Chris, easy, clear replace, got rid of the yellow, kept himself in the 8. And it'll be interesting to see what Jack does here if he goes to put him in the -10 in the kitchen. All right, he's lining it up. Looks like kitchen speed, and he does not get the kitchen. And you can see that black disc, Roger's moving it back. As soon as a disc crosses the back line, the base of the kitchen line, it gets pulled off. The idea being you don't want other discs to like stack in front of it. If it's past the back of the kitchen, it's out of play. It's off the board. So yeah, Chris probably try to clear again. Tries to clear his own St. Pete again. Looking frustrated because he can't clear it. Not the end of the world, though, because this is going to be a really hard... If Jack does want to go for the hide, it's going to be a really hard hide because of that drift that pulled his disc to the left last time. So because the hide's hard, I think he's probably just going to block up the left side of the board and make Chris have a really clogged up board for the final shot of the game. All right, he doesn't go for that. He goes for the 10. A little aggressive, because what I mean by aggressive is like, yeah, this is a harder shot for Chris to clear and replace the 10, but he could also score the 10 and kitchen it, which he doesn't get either. So the aggressive play, shooting the 10 on his last shot before the hammer, pays off because Chris misses it, and after one frame, it's 0-0. So yeah, when I talk about like conservative or aggressive play, what I mean is aggressive means, to me, high risk, high reward. The high reward is that he put the 10 up, yellow put the 10 up, and it made a really hard hammer for Jack where he had to clear and replace it in a very drifty area of the court. The high risk, though, is that yellow could score the 10 and kitchen it and basically make a 20-point shot. The kitchen's the negative 10 area in the back, that trapezoid. So, you know, it makes your opponent's hammer harder, but it also means if they get their hammer, it hurts you more. High risk, high reward. So conservative would be just to block up the left side, make Chris have to shoot kind of around those blockers. You know, if he gets it, it's a hard shot for Chris, but not as hard as clearing and placing a 10. But if he gets it, at least it's only worth 10. It's not like he's going to kitchen and score and have a 20-point shot. All right, frame 2 of 8. Black is putting up a nice Tampa. I like that placement. That's like a pretty much perfect placement for a Tampa. A little bit deeper is like what's in the textbook. But sometimes it's nice to have your Tampa a little bit higher. It gives you a little bit of space to hide behind it, an 8. So I like that. Roger clears it out, kind of leaves himself in like a wide St. Pete area. So I think Black is probably throwing up another Tampa. And that's more of like a textbook Tampa where it's perfect placement. He would have to score like an 8, deep 8 or a high 7. And Roger doing a really nice job clearing it out again. So Roger's strategy here with the hammer, keep the board clear, try to make this last shot as simple as possible. And we'll kind of see if that strategy pays off for him in a second. Yeah, Alessio blocks the cross court, making Roger shoot down the left side, which is notorious on court 3 for being really drifty and weird. Let's see if Roger can get this hammer. Going down the left side, open court, shoots it, looks pretty nice. And yeah, gets the 7, really nice. Yeah, powered through that drift. You can see it hooked left a little bit. That's going to come into play throughout this whole match. There's like kind of a bubble where that disc traveled, where the path Roger took, it curved left a little bit. If Roger's disc was to the right a little bit more, it would curve right. It's kind of like a little hill almost. But Roger does a nice job of shooting kind of as close to the center of that hill as possible, powering it through the weird drifty part of the court, and gets the 7. So after 2, it's 7 yellow, 0 black. All right, that's a pretty good St. Pete for Black. Maybe a little bit to the right of where you really want it to be a perfect St. Pete, but man, another stuck clear. So this is an interesting one. So that yellow is in between a St. Pete and a Tampa, and that means that both people can hide behind it. Chris can put a disc right on that printed number 8 on the left side, and it'll be hidden. But Jack could put a disc just to the left of that, maybe on the printed number 7, and it would be hidden for Black. So shuffleboard's all about when they're discs up front, there's certain areas that one person can shoot at that the other person can't because of the block. Chris goes for the hide, and it kind of curves to the right a little bit, and he ends up on the center line, so no score there. All right, Roger's advising to clear again, thinking that it is yellow's hammer. You want the board to be as open as possible, and Jack does a nice job clearing. Yeah, if you're not a part of the Brooklyn or Chicago Royal Palms communities, you're going to see a lot of like players kind of coaching each other. That's a huge no-no in other parts of the world that play shuffleboard. Typically, there's a no coaching rule pretty much anywhere for team shuffleboard. In my mind, it doesn't make any sense because shuffleboard's a team game. Can you name another team sport where players, teammates are not allowed to communicate with each other? You can't. So in my mind, coaching should be allowed. In Brooklyn and Chicago, we allow coaching. We do kind of try to keep the pace going. If they're taking a long time talking about every shot, it's getting boring. They're taking way too long, like kind of like this one. This is maybe like stretching the limit of time allowed for coaching. But overall, like we are a community of established players that have been playing for 10 years that win international tournaments and national tournaments. teamed up with players that have only been playing for like 3 or 4 years who are still learning the game. And coaching is a really great way of helping teammates support each other, kind of create a more inclusive community. So I'm all for team coaching. That's my little coaching rant. All right, so back to the action though. Jack did a good job clearing that disc up front, and we'll see if Chris goes for this split here. Doesn't go for the split, just kind of tries to put an 8 on the left, a high 8, and he sticks the line. What he was trying to do is score an 8 on the left side in a way where Jack couldn't hit it straight on and keep his disc there. He sticks on the line, so now Jack's going to try to score on the right side. We'll see if he can get it. Looks pretty good, maybe a little soft. No, that's, oh, that kept going. Ends up on the 7-8 line. Really unlucky for Ting Tang Walla Bing Bang. So after 3, it is 7 yellow, 0 black. Yeah, that 7-8 line, like, that line kills me. It's there to kind of introduce a little bit of randomness to the game. I actually love it because without it, I don't know, it wouldn't be as fun. But when you hit that 7-8 line and when it determines the match, someone hitting the 7-8 line, it is so frustrating. All right, Roger with that is a picture perfect St. Pete. Picture perfect is really halfway between the tip of the 10 and the edge of the board. But you can kind of cheat a little bit and put it a little bit closer to the tip of the 10 because players typically aren't going down the alley to chase. Yeah, he doesn't chase it. He clears it out and kind of accidentally rolls it into a perfect Tampa for himself. So this will be interesting to see how this plays out. Yeah, Roger fills in the right side. So basically, if Roger didn't put that disc there, black could go down the right side, put an 8 or a 7 close to the center line, and it'd be blocked up, or it'd be hidden. But Roger kind of like blocks that path to hiding a disc. And Alessio wants that path free, so he clears it out. So we'll see Roger going for the same shot. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. He blocks it, but like, if black wants to play aggressive, they could go down the alley here, hide a disc right where that printed number 7 is on the camera left side, and it'll be hidden. I don't think he's doing it because it's kind of a risky shot. Yeah, he doesn't. He tries to clear it out and does not get the clear, and suddenly this is turning into a very blocked up board. Yeah, the reason why he didn't go for it is, say he went for it and he came up short or long, then Roger would be able to bump his own disc in to points, and the whole thing would be blocked up. So, like, yeah, it was there for him, but it was a kind of a high risk, high reward, like I talked about, where if he got it, high reward, he has a hidden disc. If he misses, high risk. Ooh. So Roger's last shot, perfect high 8 on the left. Really, really nice. So all black can do is try to kitchen this because there's no way you could hit it straight on and score. Goes for the kitchen, shoots it way too hard. Didn't even go for the kitchen, just sort of drilled it super hard. I don't know exactly. I think he was just trying to limit the damage, but no real upside to that shot. And after 4 frames, it is 7 yellow, 0 black. So we got a really close one. Yeah, really, really like sticking to the fundamentals, not a lot of mistakes. You know, missed clear there, blocked up board, but like not really a whole lot of action going on so far. People just trying to play it super, super safe. All right, that is another good St. Pete. That's actually kind of where I like my St. Pete's. I like to cheat them a little bit closer to the tip of the 10. Nice clear from Chris. You know, it doesn't clear his disc all the way off the board, but there's no way yellow can hide a disc somewhere where that black one's in the way. So he's throwing up another St. Pete. And yeah, another really nice placement. Also close to that black disc up front. Sometimes when you have 2 blocks up there, when you try to clear it, it'll kind of like ricochet weirdly. Let's see, maybe. Oh, I called it. So still, though, really hard for yellow to hide. He would have to hide all the way in the corner 7. And given that they're up 7, I don't know if it's a smart shot. You know, you're down a lot. Maybe you go for it. But I think his best bet's to throw another St. Pete and hope that the exact same thing happens. Yeah, really, really nice. So yeah, really, really nice. St. Pete again. Chris is going to try to clear it again. Let's see if we can get it clear. Doesn't. Or no, he got it clear. That's good. So now Jack's last shot, you know, last time he just dropped a deep 10. So I think if you're going to go for like a deep 10 and or or I think if you're going to go for a high 10 and there might end up being a deep 10 and your opponent might kitchen you and score 18 and you suddenly lose this lead, I almost feel like hiding in a high 7 on the right side might be the right shot. Just make the hammer hard. I'm not convinced, because if you go for a 7, you run the risk of kitchening yourself by overshooting, but kind of the same mindset of going for a high 8, it ends up being a deep 8 and you give your opponent an opportunity to kitchen you. So for me, the 3 options: go for that hide on the right, go for high 8 or high 10, or just block up the center of the board and hope he misses his hammer. Let's see what he goes for. Going for high 10 and gets a deep 10. So Chris missed this last time. Let's see if he learns from the court drift of where this is going to go. Because he could get this 10 point and take the lead, or he can get a 20 point and really take the lead. Doesn't get either of them again. Oh, that's so rough. Missing the same shot twice. Definitely yellow probably realizing how hard that line is to clear and replace the 10. Some weird drift on the court. But either way, yellow really has a strong advantage. The score only shows 7-0, so it looks like they have a slight advantage, but they have an extra hammer here. They have, we play yellow, black, black, yellow order of who goes first in each frame. So because of that, there's three frames left, but yellow has 2 hammers, and black only has 1. So if they convert on each of these hammers, they're going to score 14 to 16 points and be up 20 in the last frame. And Roger, really, really strong at clearing. Kind of like how I play, where I practice clearing to make myself as consistent as possible. Roger's kind of the same way, really, really strong at clearing. And if he's able to keep it clear and score the hammer, they really have a strong lead here. Oh, look at that. Oh, I jinxed him. I said how good he was at clearing, and he stuck to clear. So yeah, this is one where black's definitely going to go for it. You got to hide 8, pretty much on that printed 8, maybe just past the printed 8, just to the left of that printed 7 on camera left. Hide it. Oh, that's good. Oh, baby. That is a nasty hide. Nasty hide number 1. That is like as good as it gets in terms of a hide. And Roger clears it out, clears the blocker. But yeah, that was perfect. So now black's move here is to just block the right side, make it so Roger can't access that black disc, and he'll have a kind of a clogged up board for his hammer too. Really important block here, and he nails it. That is as good as it gets. Helen Hunt, Jack Nicholson would love that shot. I've actually never seen that movie, but I call things as good as it gets very often in my apartment. It's a joke that Missy is sick of at this point. So really hard hammer down the left side with that weird drift that we talked about. The drift down this line is absolutely going to hook to the left. So he has to account for it without hitting his own disc. And he does not account for it enough. Yeah, you saw how much that hooked. That's because he was riding that left edge of that hill. And that was a monster frame from Tang Bus. I talked about how much of an advantage that Ting Tang had. Black hides a disc really, really perfectly. Yellow misses the hammer, and now with 2 frames left, it is a coin flip. It's anyone's game. Each team has 1 hammer left, and there's 2 frames left. So advantage squandered. But yeah, that if you're playing on court 3 and you're yellow, that is the hardest position to play from in the whole building, because that shooting down the left side is just like so brutal. All right, so strategy this frame. For black, I think it's just try to put up St. Pete's and hope you can do exactly what Alessio just did. Hide a disc, hope that your opponent misses the hammer. For yellow, I think it's doing that, keeping the board clear, just trying to make the likelihood of an 8 or a 7 as high as possible, or a 10 as high as possible, and try to go into this last frame with a 1-point lead. And that curved significantly to camera left. And that is what I call like a 50-50, where either team, if they put a disc close to the center line in like a 7, it has a hidden disc because that black one's up front. So, it's your hammer, whether you go for this. For me, if I'm yellow, I don't go for it, because that whole left side of the board we know has a really challenging drift to navigate. So even if you get it, it probably won't be hidden. with that said, if you get a score, is black really going to try to kitchen it in that hardest part of the board to shoot at? So you get a score, it's not perfectly hidden. Normally that's bad because your opponent can kitchen you, but on this board, it's really hard to kitchen dis on that left side of the board, the column side. So he's going for it. Let's see if he can get it. Looks kind of hard. Yeah, that's a self. Oh, it goes through the back of the house. Man, I thought that was a self-kitchen, but yeah, that went through the back of the house. And now black, you know, I think you go for it. I think you're on the advantage side of the board. I think you go for that 8 really close to the center line, or 7 really close to the center line. He's not going for it. He's just blocking up the board, which I'm kind of fine with that too, honestly. You block up the whole board, you make the hammer shot hard, and if they miss it, you go into the last frame, you know, with a chance to score your hammer to win. So I'm probably editing my decision. I think Chris from Tang Bus made the right shot there. Block up the board, try to make this hammer as hard as possible. You don't really need to put your foot on the gas and try to go on the board and risk messing up. And Jack with a really nice clear. Yeah, that was super sweet. And the first response from the crowd. This has been a pretty subdued game so far. First response from the crowd. Man, a lot of team communication this game. This is like definitely more than we typically see, I think. But yeah, it's high stakes game. My ideal form of coaching is like hand signals only. No like team huddle, just hand signals. Oh damn, that's pretty. Let's go. So that's a shot that could potentially be a game-winning shot. Because if Jack doesn't score this, Tang Bus goes in the last frame tied with the hammer. Jack has 2 options, kitchen it or try to hit the left edge and roll himself into an 8. I don't know. Let's see what he goes for. I'm guessing he's going for the kitchen. Going for the kitchen. And he does not get the kitchen. Really close. Man, you gotta love it. Crowd's responding. Jack high fives Paul. He got close. But, I mean, that's exactly how black wanted that to go. And going back to that choice that Chris made between hiding and blocking up the board, there you go. That his decision to just keep the board blocked up kind of paid off a little bit. Actually, no, it didn't, because Jack cleared everything. So yeah, erased what I just said. High 8 won that frame for him. Really, really sweet high 8, and made it so Jack couldn't hit his hammer. That's the power of the high 8. Probably the hardest shot in shuffleboard is that clear and replace a high 8. Maybe clear and replace a high 10. All right, so black strategy, final frame, 8 of 8. It's tied 7-7. It is clear everything and score your hammer. Nice clear, number 1. He needs 2 more clears. And Roger, you know, for Roger, he's going for St. Pete's. I would consider going for Tampa's here, because even if Roger hides to St. Pete, hiding minus St. Pete, you're most likely going to score a 7, just the positioning of it. And even if he hides the 7, Alessio could win with an 8 because it's tied right now. So Roger throwing up Tampa's where maybe he could hide an 8 instead of a 7 might be preferred. Also harder to throw up a Tampa perfectly, though. You might accidentally give your opponent a hide opportunity. Either way, Alessio sticks it, and Roger with a huge hide opportunity here. And he hides it, but I'm not calling that nasty. That is pretty open. That is like wide. That's pretty wide open. The only problem is Alessio can't really score there. And if he clears it, Roger has another chance. Oh, he whiffed it. All right. Well, the hide was good enough because Alessio whiffed left. And now this is kind of what I was talking about that hiding minus St. Pete thing. Even if Roger blocks it up, Alessio could score an 8 for the win. Yeah, and I think, oh, I don't love that. Jack's on the tip of the 10. I think you block the left side because it's really hard to score. Oh, no, he's blocking it. All right. I don't love that because he blocked the 7, but Alessio can just 8 on the left to win versus throwing up maybe like a high, I don't know, whatever it is. This shot is huge. 8 to win, 7 to tie. To determine the match. Looks pretty good. And he gets it. 8 to win. Monster shot. Clutch shot. And that's kind of what I'm saying. I think that's what Paul was suggesting is like block that line. Well, first off, huge props to Alessio. What a clutch shot to win the game. Going back to what I'm saying though, if you block that line, you make Alessio have to clear the 7 out, but in all likelihood he's not going to be able to score on it because it was a high 7. I don't know. Or you score, but blocking the 7, allowing him to shoot the 8, I don't love it. Tang Bus makes him pay. All right, we're going to game 2. I am taking a quick break. We will be back in 1 second. All right, and we are about to kick this thing off. We have Tang Bus on yellow, Ting Tang, Walla, Bing Bang on black. You may recognize some of these people from past Brooklyn Shuffleboard videos. Paul Assad on Ting Tang at the head, playing black. He is the runner-up in the World Shuffleboard Championships down in Florida this past year. Also, you have seen him as a runner-up in a different tournament, I think. I don't really know. Doesn't matter. And then Ting Tang, Tang Bus playing yellow. It's Mike and Mike Dunlop and Mike Brady. It's not recorded, but they won a national tournament in Chicago. So they are national shuffleboard champions. Also for the St. Pete crew, Mike Brady down here at the foot, he plays in the St. Pete League in wintertime. He winters down in Florida. And yeah, definitely crowd favorite. Really, really strong players, all 4 of these guys. And then Rob Leonardi on Ting Tang playing the black at the foot here. Just overall sweetheart of a person. I love Rob. Brothers with JP Leonardi, who is a golden Tang. The idea when Rob started playing was that he and Paul and his team would play. Rob would get really good, and then he joined the Golden Tangs. And then Ting Tang just kept winning all the time. So he's like, why would I do that? I have a pretty good thing going right now. But yeah, they've made it to so many shuffleboard banquets. They're always here. They have won one, and they're going to need to really pull this game off and send this thing to overtime. I love an overtime, and I really want to see that happen. All right, so we are doing practice shots. They just practiced coming down to the foot. Now they're practicing going down to the head. And I'm about to tell you, if you are a newer player that doesn't know what to do with practice shots, this is the time to pay attention. For practice shots, you are trying to figure out 3 things. Number 1, what is the speed on a given day? You want to know what it feels like to shoot an 8. You want to know what it feels like to shoot a 7. Because some days it's slower, some days it's faster. When it's humid in here, it's slower. Also depends on the wax on the bottom of the disc, the amount of wax, and if it's been buffed. A lot of different factors. Number 2, are all the discs the same speed? You'll see in our Royal Palms discs, they're all different sets. So some of them are Allen Shuffleboard Arco discs. Some of them are DIMCO discs. I don't know what DIMCO stands for. They're all kind of like different sets, even like different years and vintages of Allen Shuffleboard discs. So if you're yellow and you see a disc that's like a darker kind of faded color, those tend to be a little bit slower. So you want to figure out, are the discs all the same speed, or are some slower and some faster? If so, if I identify like a slower disc, I'm usually trying to use that first so I don't shoot my hammer and come up short if I save it for the very end. The third thing is court drift. So court drift is, every court is not perfectly flat. As we saw in the first game, there's whole sections of the court that will drift sharp left, sharp right. You want to choose specific spots that you're aiming at. Trust that you're a straight shooter, that the disc's going to go where you're aiming, and then see where the disc actually goes. So if you're Rob here and you're aiming for an 8 on the left, it looks like he was aiming for a 10. So whatever he's aiming for. You're aiming for the printed number 8 on the left. You see the disc ended up 6 inches to the left of that or a foot to the left of that. You want to trust that when I'm starting from a certain spot, it curves 6, and I'm aiming at that spot, it curves 6 inches left. The court has, especially since the construction, a ton of peaks and valleys. So where you're starting from and where you're aiming both determine how it's going to drift, and there's a lot of variability. So in general, you want to start shooting your shot from the same spot as often as possible to introduce that level of consistency. And that is the tutorial on warm-up shots. All right, frame 1 of 8, game 2. This is the second shot. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, good audience suggestion from someone behind me. What would happen if the game ended in a tie? Great question for the newer players here, because that was 7-7. If Tang Bus hit a 7, it would have ended 14-14. whenever a game goes to a tie, what we do with the Royal Palms is we just do 2 more frames. Everyone stays on the same color, and you just keep playing sets of 2 frames, following that yellow, black bag, yellow format until the tie is broken. We had 2 matches this season that went to 6 extra frames in an 8-frame game, and we lost both of them. I don't like when that happens. All right, so Paul. So you're going to see a little something different in this game versus game 1. Game 1, everyone was kind of just like not trying to do too much fancy stuff. But Paul, if you know, being probably the second best player in the building, he is going to go for all sorts of stuff. Just like Mike there. Mike goes down the alley, trying to hide down the alley instead of going for a high 8. I don't love it. But Paul's like tried to clear that out, and he intentionally rolled it to be a St. Pete. Actually, I don't know if he did that on purpose, but he's going to be doing stuff like that the entire time. Trying to get really fancy, trying to use, nice 8 from Paul, nice hammer. Trying to use his skill as an advantage and steal hammers and possibly get 2 scores on his own hammer. And after 1 frame, it is 0 yellow, 8 black. Man, there is a lot of music that I am unfamiliar with being played right now. I know nothing about country music. There is some dancing going on. Apparently, after this match ends, Dana from Breakfast of Champions is going to lead a line dancing session, which I feel like I am going to have to participate, but I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I can like dance a little, but line dancing definitely not a forte of mine as a Long Island boy. Back to shuffleboard. So yeah, still throwing up those same Petes. And that one curled to the right. That is exactly what I'm talking about, the little hill on the court, where if you're to the left, it's going to curl left. If it's to the right, you're going to curve right. That disc from Rob curved to the right. And now Mike Brady on yellow is going to hide behind this down the left side. Speed is a little bit hard, and he catches himself. Man, that's the risk of going for a hide early in the game where you only have those 4 practice shots. You might not really know the court perfectly. Oh, and that one curled left a lot. That's exactly what I'm talking about, that hill on the court or hump. It's right in between those 2 black discs, where if the disc is to the left, it curves left. If it's to the right, it curves right. And Mike Brady with a huge clear out of the kitchen, and the crowd responds. Yeah, that -10, if you're in the -10 and you have a straight shot at it, you definitely want to clear it out. If you're in the -10 and there's a black disc in the way, that's like 3/4, 4/5 in the way, you don't really want to like combo the disc up front to clear it out. You don't want to chase the kitchen, people call it. Where if you're in the kitchen and you're not going to be able to clear it out, trying some like miracle 1 in a million shot is not the way of doing it. All right, so Rob tries to hide the 10 behind there, and it's a little bit deep. But either way, not the easiest hammer for Mike, because this line might curve left a little bit. No, it looks pretty good. Didn't curl left, but he did end on the 7-8 line. I mean, I usually talk about how tragic that is, and how much I hate the 7-8 line. But if you know me, you're a fan of the channel, I'm always rooting for an overtime. So I'm okay with it. Yeah. You think I wouldn't like an overtime because it's only 4 frames, so like it's just so random. But who doesn't like overtime? You know what I mean? It's like high drama, high intensity. The whole crowd goes crazy. That's what I'm rooting for. Also, better TV. More video editing, I guess, is the downside. But yeah, who doesn't love an overtime? All right, let's see if Paul can steal a hammer here. He's throwing up those St. Pete's that are like a little bit too far to the right, where if Mike wants to go down the alley, he could. But given that drift, I don't think he's going to go for it. Oh, but he sticks it. Wow. So now Paul, look what Paul's doing right now. He's seeing the board from Mike's perspective. And he's basically looking through that yellow disc up front, and he's trying to identify where on the court he could score where that yellow disc is in the way. I think he's even doing it a second time. If you're going for a hide and you're a newer player or any player, 100% look at the board from your opponent's side, see where you need to place your disc, stare at that spot, and then put the disc on that spot. Really nice shot from Paul. That is on the 7-8 line. All right, payback for the hammer in the prior frame. That's interesting though, because it puts Mike in kind of a tough position. He clears the yellow out. Paul can just, Paul can just bump that in and make, nothing will be hidden. But if he bumps it in, it's going to be a harder hammer for Mike. So in my mind, that's probably what you go for. You could either go for a high 8 on the left side, so hope that when Mike clears it, your disc might bump into the other black disc and stay in, or you try to split this. I usually try to split these, especially because he just went for the shot. It doesn't look like that's what he's going for. Yeah, he's going for the high 8, and he gets a deep 8. So this will be like a good tester of, you blast this clear and replace, will the black disc stay in? Shoots it pretty quick, and he does not get the score, but no black disc stayed in. So nice strategic shot from Paul, putting the 8 on the left side where it's hard to clear and replace. Still, for me though, I like trying to split those, especially because you started from the 4 spot before. The 4 spot's the name of the starting position of starting your disc all the way on the outside of the board. That's the 4 spot. The 1 spot's starting your disc all the way in the middle. You shot from the 4 spot. You hid behind that. You pretty much got that shot perfect. You just got unlucky with the 7-8 line. You do that exact shot again, you get the 7-8 split. He might still be able to score, but I don't know. I like it. All right, so Rob's another really strong clearing player, and that was a pretty nice clear. All right, Mike with a picture-perfect St. Pete. The crowd shaking their head because they think it's boring, but that is definitely the optimal strategy. And another really nice clear from Rob. His disc stayed in, but it stayed in kind of in advantageous position for black, where, if he has an opportunity, he could hide behind that because it's kind of a perfect St. Pete for black. Not a St. Pete for yellow, because yellow can't really do anything with it. And Mike decides to go on the board and throws up a high 7. The idea behind that is he doesn't really want to try to block to fill in next to that black disc and miss and give Rob a hide opportunity. So he's let me go on the board and play kitchen. And Rob with another really nice clear. Oh my God, the monitor, they turned the bass up. You guys feel that bass? I could feel the floor shaking. Yeah, that's definitely gonna impact the video. Why is there so much bass as country music? I feel like I got these Whole Foods sponges under the high top table to dampen the bass. Oh, that's so obnoxious. All right. I'm going to see if I can turn the bass down. A lot of bass. You guys really turned that bass up.
No one even touched it.
No one? Yeah, turn it up more. Really nice hammer shot from Rob. So that is that's why Rob is so good at this game. You know what I mean? He executed really, really nice clears. He had a not particularly easy clear and replace, and he nailed it perfectly. That is super impressive. And after 4 frames, it is 0 yellow, 16 black. Man, what a fun banquet. The crawfish earlier. For me, every banquet should have a crawfish boil. Definitely thumbs up in the comments if you agree that every banquet should have a crawfish boil. If this video gets more than 20 likes, I will show Nick and see if he has if he'll do a crawfish boil every single time. All right, so Paul can't clear it, and Mike needs this being down 16, going for a hide, and he gets a really nice deep 7. The problem, though, is it's not really hit him. So Paul can knock it out. He has a straight line at the yellow. That black disc is not in the way. However, if he tries to get fancy and go for the kitchen, the drift might take over. And if he shoots it hard and clears it, Mike has a second hide opportunity. So Paul keeps his disc in, rolls it right a little bit. The idea being maybe Mike will miss this, but I don't really know. I think if Mike shoots it hard and sticks it, it'll be even more hidden. And he doesn't, and he kitchens it. Wow. Crowd losing their mind. So yeah, I don't even know if he's going for the kitchen there, but whenever you keep your disc in play like that, deep in the 7, something like that might happen. Fortunately, Paul's a wide open clear at it. Still not hard to do, not easy to do on the palms, on the slow palms courts. Shoots it super hard and gets it out. Really, really nice clear from Paul. And now this is another huge shot. Mike not blocking up the right side. He's going for another hide. That looks too hard. And he's in the kitchen. Man, I like going for it because it's not enough at this level to like just block up the board and hope that your opponent will miss at like, you know, the level of these players. So I like going for the hide, but just definitely too hard there. And Paul, if he gets this, it will make a commanding lead for Ting Tang, and he gets it. Really nice 8. So that is a -10 yellow, 8 black frame, 18-point frame for black. And suddenly this game is a 34-point differential, I believe. 36-point differential, I believe. I don't know. Look at the top right of the screen for the actual score. I have another rant here. This rant is about chalk pressure. If you are in the league here, oh, I think it's like a 34-point game right now. Yeah. If you're in the league here and you're writing down the score, apply as much chalk pressure as you can, please. The thick chalk, it ain't gonna break. Everyone wants to see the score from the other side. Definitely put down a lot of chalk pressure as you write the score. Do it for your old pal, Jeff of the Golden Tangs. All right, so the strategy here from Mike with such a deficit for yellow is to throw up what we call kitchen bait. So if you're in yellow's position now, the last thing you want to do is keep the whole board clear. Because even though you have the hammer, if you keep the whole board clear and you're successful, the best case scenario is that you score an 8. You're down 34 or whatever it is at this point. If you score 2 8s in the next 2 frames, you're still going to be down 16 or 18 without the last hammer. You're going to lose the game, even if you score your next 2 hammers. So what you need to do is score more than 1 disc. Either that's scoring 2 of your own discs if you score and your opponent whiffs, or hoping your opponent can't clear the board and you have a kitchen opportunity, which is what yellow has right now. And boy, do they need this. Overshoot it significantly. And similarly from black, you know, you need to think about holding a lead. If you're up this much, all you want to do at this point is make sure that your opponents don't score 2 discs. So yeah, black could try to kitchen this, you know, if they really wanted to. But let's say they miss and they leave 7 in points and they keep their own disc in the 8. Then Tang Bus kitchens them and scores the 8. That would be a 25-point frame. And right now the only way that Tang Bus is going to get back in this game is if they get a 25-point frame. So what you do is you hold the lead by just clearing everything. You want as few discs in play as possible. You want the lowest likelihood of them scoring more than 1 disc as you could possibly muster. And yeah, yellow scored that 8. If you're black, you're happy. You know, like, yeah, they scored an 8. I couldn't care any less because I'm still up 24 or whatever it is, 16. What's this, 26? I got to figure out the actual score. Do you mind? Down 26, yeah. So, yeah, yellow scored 8 points, but you're still winning by 26, so who cares? And similarly, if I'm black, like, I don't even throw up a St. Pete there. I just throw off the board and hope that your opponent goes on the board, because they're going to go on the board no matter what. You know, there's no scenario being up 26 where you're going to try to hide a disc and accidentally kitchen yourself. Yeah, 26.
24 minus.
Yeah, 24 -2. Thank you. So Paul tries to clear, and he doesn't get it clear. So now, just like last frame, Tang Bus has a kitchen opportunity that they desperately, desperately need. That speed looks a little hard. Yeah, definitely a little hard. Doesn't get the 8, doesn't get the kitchen. That disc gets removed because it passed the baseline of the kitchen. And Paul, you know, the right shot here, 100% is trying to clear that yellow. Keep the whole board as clear as possible. Make it so your opponent can't score 2. And I don't know, he doesn't clear. He clears soft, I think, thinking that he missed his last hard clear. Either way, don't love it because they have another kitchen attempt, and that one looks good. That is in. And not only is it in, but the yellow has it blocked up pretty good. Yeah, it's blocked up pretty well. So Paul can see the edge of it, and it's kind of a hard decision here. Because even if Paul doesn't clear it, Tang Bus is going to score an 8, and it's going to be a 18-point frame. Ting Tang's still going to be up 6 with the final hammer. So I think because Paul, though, I think he's going to try to hide cross court here. For me, I just try to clear the yellow, combo the yellow into the black, or go for that kitchen clear, knowing that you're still going to have the lead in the last frame. Yeah. Oh, I think that's on the line. So like that's kind of why you don't go for the hide, because let's say, oh, is that in? Oh, that's going to be annoying if it's in. Super lucky. Third call. Third call on court 3. Oh, we're getting Schnapp to do it. Yeah, we want Nick. We don't want Schnapp. We want Nick. Oh. Paul looked at himself and said it ain't in. You know, sometimes it's wishful thinking. You want a third call. You want someone who might say it's in, but that ain't in. Probably fortunate. But yeah, let's say that Paul's disc went a little bit deeper. Mike would have a kitchen and score 8 attempt to take the lead. Whereas he makes this open court hammer, which he didn't do. But if he made that open court hammer, Ting Tang would still have the hammer in the last frame with a 6-point lead, which is like a super advantageous place to be in. So definitely, you know, me, I'm harping about this, about like shot selection, really trying to imagine if everything goes wrong for me, what will happen, and trying to avoid the situation where everything going wrong and you squandering your lead. But it worked out because Tang Bus missed the hammer. Yeah, they were in the kitchen, but Tang Bus is down 14 going into the last frame without the hammer. And Mike going on the board. I really like that on the left side, where it might be hard for Rob to clear it out. Let's see if he can clear it out. Gets not clear. Yeah, so this is absolutely huge. He needs this kitchen, and he needs to stay in a scoring position, or kitchen it and have your disc block it up. Absolutely needs this. Looks pretty good. No, way too hard. Way too hard. Keeps it in the 8. So Rob with a second attempt to clear. Second attempt to clear. Shoots it nice and hard and gets it pretty clear. I think that's good. If you're Mike from Tang Bus, I think you either want to kitchen that black or you want to try to hide behind it. For me, it's really hard to hide behind it, so I think you maybe go for the kitchen here. If that black was further up, I'd say hide behind it. All right, he's just going on the board. Oh, that's not bad. Going on the board. Paul's saying throw off. Yeah, Paul's saying throw off the side. Rob is just confirming. What's the score? I got to start writing the score down. 16, yeah. So throwing off the side of the board is the right shot here. But no, he clears it. Actually, that's probably the right shot. It doesn't really matter anyway. The concern is like if he sticks the 8, Mike can kitchen it and get the 18 points he needs. But either way. And that is the game. Rob throws off the side, and Ting Tang takes game 2. We're going to take a little break before our 4-frame overtime. We'll be right back. All right, we are about to start this thing off. Yellow up first. We are going to see if Ting Tang can pull off this 4-frame overtime win. Once again, reminder on the overtime format. So this is a 4-frame tiebreaker where everyone plays 1 frame. So right now we have Jack and Chris on the head of the court. They're going to play their 1 frame and then they're off. Alessio and Roger at the foot play their 1 frame and they're off. The teams switch colors. Everyone plays on the original color they're on. And after 4 frames, we see who's ahead. All right, nice clear from Chris. Chris, by the way, hurt his leg recently. He was telling me yesterday. So this is not his normal shooting form. And even with that, he is playing in the finals right now, potentially winning a championship. So that's a really interesting shot. That yellow is very much a Tampa. And Chris has a chance to go down the alley, score an 8 or a 7, and have it hidden behind the yellow. That looks pretty good. Maybe a little hard. That is good. Is that nasty, though? I can't see. Hey, Alessio, can you just like scoot over a little bit? All right, let's see how nasty it is. That's pretty nasty. I think that's good. Yeah, that was nasty. Nasty-ish hide, we'll call it. Yeah. So that's like what we talked a lot in the actual like regular game of what a hide is. Like when you have the hammer, it's really hard to decide whether you want to keep the board clear or take that hide. And the concern is like as soon as you take that hide, even if you get it, a lot of different variations of the board can go down. Whereas if you just keep it clear, you know how the frame's going to play out, assuming you could actually keep it clear. So this is one where Chris made the nasty-ish hide, didn't block it up perfectly, and now Jack can shoot a cross-court 8 and hide a disc of his own because Chris's block wasn't perfect. That's way too hard. That's in. No. So that is 17 points on the board. If Tang Bus gets this, they will go up by 24-25 in the first frame of overtime. And he does not get it. Okay. Woo! Does not get it. Keeps the game kind of interesting, but still, that is a 17-point frame for Tang Bus in frame 1 of overtime. You kind of tend to see this. It's kind of sad, but you kind of tend to see this in overtime, where because the disc speed is like constantly changing a little bit, when you play in game 1 and then you don't play for 8 frames and then you play in overtime and you go for those hides, you don't get any more practice shots. So the speed might be different. You might not realize it, and you might have a situation where you overshoot or undershoot without realizing. Typically, it tends to be an overshoot because the game speeds up a little bit. So yeah, this is one where Alessio starts with the Tampa. It's a little bit too far to the left, and Roger has an opportunity to go on the board. And I think down 17, I think you probably want to play a little aggressive now. Man, that disc hooked left hard. So he gets the 7, but it's not hidden. He needed it to be like right close to the center line. Alessio has a chance to clear and replace here, or just clear. Goes for a hard clear, doesn't get it, and now Roger with a kitchen attempt here. However, it is on the hardest part of the board to kitchen because you never know which direction the disc is going to curve. I think from that line, how he's saying, should he roll it? I don't really know what he's asking his teammate. Which side to kitchen him? What is he saying? Which side to kitchen him? I don't know. I don't think it matters which side. I think what you want to do is you want to kitchen him and you want to roll your disc to the right a hair. But really, you just want to kitchen him and keep an 8. Like, it's so hard to kitchen. All right, we got a cross court. Cross court. All right. Hey, quiet. Crowd is booing the excessive coaching. This is an example of coaching being allowed, but excessive coaching not allowed. Oh, baby! He got 2. Ric Flair chop him. That was dope. That was dope. That was so clutch because he kitchened him behind that blocker up front, and he scored all the way to the left where it's really hard for Alessio to reverse it. That was perfect. That was the shot of the game so far, and it's not even close. That was so good. Oh, maybe. Oh, does not get it. Gets the 8 out, but he is unable to get himself out of the kitchen. It's pretty blocked up. It's like half block. Paul is advocating to block more, which I think is probably the right shot. Your 2 shots are try to score on the left again or block more. But having the hammer, I think you block more. That is perfect. Really, really nice shot from Roger. So what he was trying to do is, if he didn't do that, Alessio could start all the way from the outside and clear himself out of the kitchen. Now he can't. Roger, even with the hammer, is kind of blocking up the board, which is not ideal. But still, like, you want to, given the score, you want to keep that disc in the kitchen. So I'm all for that shot selection. Alessio probably trying to put up a block on the left here. Going high 8 on left. Wow, look at that curve to the right. So yeah, he puts up a block, but because it curves to the right. Oh, no way. Paul's telling him to bump it. I think you just go down the left side here. I mean, it's really hard because of the drift to go down the left side. It's the problem is that left side of the court. Sorry, well, I mean, the drift is more predictable over there, but I don't love it because bump shots are lower percent, but he's going for it. Let's see if he can get it. Looks pretty good. He got it. Good? No? Oh, I hate that. See, that is one where that 7-8 line. I'm okay with that. Easier to score an 8 that way. All right, the crowd's losing their mind. And after 2, it is a 7-point game. Yeah. Not enough chalk pressure. I talked about this earlier. The whole PSA for all the new teams. When you're writing the score, you need maximum chalk pressure.
Or a lamp.
Or a lamp. They have lamps in Chicago, I'm pretty sure. Oh, we got a wave! Let's go! Keep the wave going, baby. All right, I want to see this wave. All right, we got on the wave. Yeah, the wave's going that way. Counterclockwise wave.
Go back.
These players are locked in right now. There is a wave going, and these players don't seem to notice. All right, well, down 7, 2 frames left. Black, without the hammer, needs to play aggressive. Yeah, let's go. We got a wave going. Literally, Paul doesn't. I bet if you ask Paul after this match, was there a wave? He's going to say, what are you talking about? Locked in. Does not look good. Oh, we got it. Oh, doesn't get it. You see what he was doing? He kitchened it on the angle so that he would have a score and put his opponent in the kitchen, but he does not get it. All right. So Paul trying to steal this hammer here. He has the board's been pretty much reset. So he'll either throw up a Tampa, St. Pete, or play kitchen bait. For me, I don't really know. Maybe a Tampa here and try to groom your high 10 speed. He's going on the board playing kitchen, and he does not get it. Well, this is tempting for Dunlap to knock the black into that other one in the kitchen. He does not go for it. All right, high 8. High 8, let's see it. If he can get a high 8 on the right or a high 10 on the right, he can potentially steal the hammer, and Ting Tang would go up into the last frame with a chance to tie or win on the hammer. But he really needs this high 8 or high 10. High 10, and it's not hard enough. Not hard enough. Blocks up the board. The Dunlap's going to go down the left side where he has that sort of like mental kitchen. That looks hard. No, that's a 7. Guess the 7. Okay. That was a hard 7. That was like right in the middle of the 7. It looked a little fast to me, but I guess it wasn't fast at all. It was perfect. So Ting Tang, last frame of the playoffs, they're down 14. 14. So when you're down 14, yellow's move probably is to throw off the side of the board, because the last thing you want to do is get kitchen. I've had a situation where I've been in this situation. I put up a St. Pete, my opponent kitchens me, and suddenly I'm in the kitchen. Yellow goes on the board, and it doesn't look like black's going to go for the kitchen. I don't know. I don't typically go for the kitchen here, but I see it happen, and I see it work well. Instead, he goes on the board, scores, does not score. It looks like that's on the line. Either way, so yellow's move here is just clear everything, right? All you want to do is not get kitchen or not give your opponent a hide opportunity. He blasts it, and he clears it really nicely. So there's also a scenario in which Rob could go all the way down the alley down the right, but I don't think it's time for that yet. I think you still play kitchen bait, and that's what he does. That's a really nice kitchen bait in the 7. I like how he got it deeper from the first one to the second one. The first one was an 8, the second one's in the 7. There is a scenario in which yellow clears this and rolls himself into the kitchen, but he does not do it. He clears it really nicely. So now this will be interesting to see if Ting Tang goes for the kitchen for yellow. So their move is kitchen mate again. If Tang Bus clears it, it's game over. Or go down the alley, or try to kitchen that yellow up front. I'm thinking the alley shot you have to score. If you come up short or long, the game's over. The kitchen attempt, where you kitchen the yellow, even if you come up short, if they don't block it up, you might have a second try at the kitchen. So for that, I kind of think maybe trying to kitchen the yellow is the right shot. But I'm always on the fence about this one. But either way, this is a huge shot. He needs this to stay in the game. If he misses it, they lose. Oh, he's going for the kitchen. Let's go. Oh, misses. Yeah, too hard. Drop the 10. Get the 10. And Tang Bus shoots off the side, and the crowd wanted him to drop the 10. Drop the 10. Rob going for the 10. Yeah, let's go. Drops the cherry on the doo-doo Sunday, and still you love to see the level of skill though. But Tang Bus is the new champion. They are 4-time champions, tied for the winningest team in Brooklyn with the Philly Specials and Gowanus Dolphins. They played incredible. They went to overtime, and that was a blast. That was a fun match. Congratulations to our friends Tang Bus. They earned that. Apologies to Ting Tang. You know, they were my favorites, being the 1-time champions versus 3-time champions. They played really well. They took them down to the wire. And yeah, that was a fun season. If you are curious about the shuffleboard scene in Brooklyn, definitely sign up for the league. You don't have to be as good as these players. Pretty much 2/3 of the league are newish to the game, still learning. You will love the party environment here. Sign up for NYSA if you're not a New York Shuffleboard Association member yet. We do these singles leagues and tournaments all the time. They're a lot of fun. Subscribe to this channel if you are not subscribed already. Buy merch at Brooklyn Shuffleboard on Etsy. And subscribe if you haven't already, because I need more subscribers. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a lot of fun spending this time with you. Really appreciate all y'all. Have a lovely evening. Peace out.